Okay, now next up is something I wanted to cover. This is something that I'm just like, I don't get how this happens. So apparently we have a lot of just get me moved over to the side. We have a lot of PC Genshin Impact players who are apparently wanting Aloy, the crossover character, to be removed from the game. Now, we've been seeing a lot of different pieces of drama going on from the Genshin Impact community, so I don't get what's going on with this. I mean, I know she's not a part of the actual story because she's a crossover character, but it's not like that's the first time we've ever seen that happen. Plenty of games have characters like that. They're not tied to the story at all and come from a different game altogether, and they are there just for the playability and for the fun. So let's see what the actual complaints are, because I want to know what's going on here. So let's see here. Blah, Genshin player surprised. Yeah, they always got to talk about everything leading up to it. So Aloy doesn't fit in Genshin Impact's lore. That's not the point. That's not what a crossover character is for. So, okay, let me see here. Aloy from Zero Dawn comes from a world filled with advanced technology. The enemies within the world are comprised of mechanical dinosaurs and futuristic type weapons such as laser beams and missile launchers. The setting also takes place in the United States, as remnants of a modern civilization can be seen throughout the game. The lore of both games are also completely opposite from one another. One world has knights and ancient monsters, gods and dragons, while the other has machines, T-Rex firing missiles from its back. Despite Genshin having similar mechanics and enemies like the Rune Guards, who can also shoot lasers and missiles, which, there's something that people should take into consideration, because that was the first thing I thought of the Rune Guards. Like, okay, ancient civilization, Let me see. Aloy's presence in Genshin Impact doesn't fit into overall narrative for some players. I don't get that. Exactly my point, Storm. Exactly my point. If you don't like the character, don't play as her. They gave her to you for free. She just literally lands in your box. You don't have to use her. If anything, having her there just means that you have another character to build up that you can get more fates with for another set of wishes. You can get at least, 4 fates off of fully ascending a character, somewhere around there, 3 or 4. So them giving it to you for free is still a plus, even if you don't plan on using her. Like me personally, since she's been in my box, I don't actually use her for combat. I do use her for hunting, and I am gonna make a video putting that out like sometime later and everything on how I do that and everything, because it was pretty fun. But that's all I use her for, and that's fine. I don't hate the character. In fact, I'm glad that we see a crossover character. For me, as I showed in the earlier video I posted, I love the idea because that opens the door for other crossover characters, and there's a lot of great characters whose mechanics would work great in the world of Genshin Impact and would blow up if they were to come over. The Genshin community would go nuts if some of the characters I had listed actually appeared. But the thing is, to hate the character because she's crossover, that's not cool, man. I don't get that. So I'm gonna try to see what else they're actually talking about here. I have 2 articles up, so let me see here. And let's see. And she's useful for hunting when you want to farm. Exactly. She is kind of fun. I don't like the fact that they gave her a massive cooldown, but that's on MiHoYo. That's something that's fixable if they ever actually decide to do that. But other than that, she's not a bad character, and I've already seen people posting videos of doing some very good damage with her. So let me see what else they have to say. While Aloy doesn't have an in-game story quest like many other characters, during some gameplay dialogues, it's been hinted that she was accidentally transported to the world of Genshin Impact. There isn't any backstory to this incident, but only that Aloy saw a flash of light and suddenly she was in a new unexplored world filled with mysteries. Isn't that pretty much exactly what the fuck happens to the main character, the Traveler, after getting his ass beat by the unknown god? So, I don't know what the hell happened. Opening for Genshin Impact is fine and great to open up the story, but I don't know what the fuck happened for the crossover character doesn't work and doesn't fit her. Did you ever think that maybe that may be something that they're gonna try to connect down the line, considering the actual like lore of Genshin Impact apparently has to do with multiple worlds and such? I mean, just thinking here, you know, just turn the wheels a little bit. So let's see, what else they have to say? Another critique players have about Aloy is that she is not a strong character to use. Now that's kind of true, but not every character is meant to be the main DPS that does 1,000,000 damage if you built them right. So, I mean, I can kind of get it, but at the same time, some of the demonstrations I saw, there are people who's hitting like, you know, 100k damage with her. So you can't really say that she can't do real damage. Let me see. When others compare to others, like in Genshin Impact, like Ganyu, you're gonna compare her to literally the strongest character in the game. Literally the character who is literally built up to be able to shoot you from 30 yards away and hit like 200k damage on a basic build. That's who you're comparing her to. She outshines all the characters in the game in terms of damage. That's not even fair to bring that up like that. That's poor in this article. Aloy performs noticeably worse than her cryo allies. Her role within a team is to be a damage dealer to several other abilities, increases her damage output. But many of these issues resolve around her elemental skill. Now that is one thing I will agree with her. Elemental skill, it doesn't have that much distance, the explosion is not that big, and it has a massive cooldown. That's her only like big drawback is her skill. That one point I will agree with right there. In order to effectively use Aloy as a primary cryo DPS in combat, her Frozen Wilds talent and ice bombs it creates need to hit enemies 4 times in order for Aloy to enter her raging ice state. Now, it's not hard to hit them 4 times as I've tried to do when I was playing with her, but you got to get like right up on the enemy. Considering that you're throwing a grenade, you should be able to throw it at good distance, you know, where, because in reality, when you throw a grenade, you're throwing it as far as possible so you don't get caught in the blast. So the fact that she's like, and it lands like right in front of you, the only way you actually throw it a good distance is if you throw it off of a ledge. And you can't do like other characters where you can hold it down and kind of target it like with catching, which I thought was kind of weird. For a skill like that, you should be able to. No, you just tap it and she throws. There's no holding it down. So I feel like, yeah, in terms of her mechanics, her skill needs a lot of work. It needs to be redone in my opinion. But as far as her burst goes, her burst is fairly strong. And there's nothing else that's really like bad about her in that sense. Let me see here. Is there anything else that they have to say about her? Okay, that's it for that article. So let's see what this other article has to say. Genshin Impact community that's angry again. Players try to delete Aloy. Okay, I actually heard about this. Apparently there's some people who are actually trying to go into their PC, into the actual data files and the install files, and literally delete her from the game without corrupting their game and trying to figure out how to do it. And it's like, dude, it's not that serious. Like, for real. Okay, let's see what this really has to say. Aloy from Zero Dawn is the first 5-star character to get out for free, blah blah blah. Overwhelming sadness and anger at Aloy. Many Genshin Impact fans are apparently furious at having Sony's Aloy in their game, having her part of the end-game lore in this way. Genshin Impact is far from the first game to do a collaboration event like this. Either it's genuinely baffling that fans would be so irate over a free 5-star character, except that it's not who they want. And see, that's keywords right there, who they want. It's like I do multiple games and stuff, so it's just like the Smash community. Every time, I'm glad that we're done with the characters on there, because every time a new character came out, no matter how happy we were as a whole, there were always those pricks in the background who were bashing the game because they didn't get their preferred character. Like, get over yourself. So let me see here. A YouTube video went viral posting, what happens if you delete Aloy, and blah 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 blah. It's unclear if the YouTube video is serious. Many people are beyond this notion. So many comments praised them for taking MiHoYo to the task in this manner. Yeah, what are you actually doing to MiHoYo as a company if you go into your computer and delete some files off of your computer? I'm trying to find the logic there. How are you being some big hero from deleting some files off of your computer? I'm trying to make sense of that. Can somebody make sense of that? Okay, I'm sorry. Apparently nobody can make sense of that. So let's just move on. So the Genshin Impact devs don't give out free things. I mean, they really don't, but it was rare. So which is drawing the ire of the fans. But when a 5-star Aloy is getting out for free, rage explodes across the internet, which is backwards to me. And just to address the whole rage explodes across the internet, it's very easy for a small group of people to make ghost accounts and just bash stuff and everything. That's pretty much a lot of what happened with the anniversary event, because I know I wasn't downvoting anything. There was a lot of people who I knew who wasn't. In a lot of communities and groups that I'm in that have thousands of Genshin players, they were like, I'm not doing that. But there were a lot of people who were. So to say that it was completely one-sided, no. It was just a lot of people making ghost accounts. Okay, you get too many people doing that, it will have an impact. Yeah, but when the 5-star is given for free, blah blah blah, many commenters decided they were going to do the same. Wait for a full actual year to delete Aloy. However, since MiHoYo already went to such length to prevent deletion, there's no telling what will happen in a year. They could be forced to accept the character. It's just unfortunate that people are so upset about such a minor thing. Exactly, a minor thing. And who gets upset about getting something for free? That's the one thing I never understand. Who gets upset about getting something for free? Okay? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I don't get it. I never will. Exactly. Not to mention a free 5-star character. And here's the thing. If you I think sometimes, in my opinion, the people who start playing Genshin right from jump, the day one players, I think they forget the bigger picture here, because just because you've been playing since day one and you have a lot of great characters, and there's that one character or that one thing that you really want, and MiHoYo just hasn't given it to you yet, you have to understand that you yourself, or even that core demographic, is not their only focus. New players are discovering Genshin all the time. I didn't start playing until 2.0 had already dropped, so I missed out on a lot of stuff that happened before then. I didn't start playing. Actually, no, I started playing before then. Didn't start playing until the Lantern event. That's when I started playing. So yeah, anything that was before the Lantern event, I know nothing about. Yeah, exactly. Storm Raven, you make a good point. You just started playing this August. So imagine being a new player. You get in here and I have another free 5-star character that comes from a game that I may or may not be familiar with. Whether or not you're familiar with it is irrelevant. If you're familiar with it and you like the game, then that's a bonus. But ultimately, you're getting an extra character who is fairly strong, not the strongest in the game, but guess what? Not every character can be the strongest in the game. Ganyu holds that title, period, okay? So, to get mad at that, I'm sorry, that's stupid. That's stupid to me. So, when you look at it that way, it's like, I'm sorry, a lot of you are being crybabies. So when you get like a new player getting this character would be excited because now they have more than just the Traveler, and they haven't had to go and do any events or do any wishes or spend any money or build up anything. They just boom, they got that character. That's a plus for so many people that jump into this game. Just because in-game players like myself don't need her, that's not the point. Okay, so a lot of you really need to get over yourself. I'm sorry, that's just the truth about it. All right. Okay, so yeah, I've missed a lot of big events. So yeah, so I was totally happy to get a new character to play with. Exactly, and that's the thing with a lot of people when they do this. I don't get why they act like this. You always get that core people who are so entitled.